we have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
And I do call that this gathering will be a historic one in the world and the history of the world. And in the name of the General Assembly that is presided by Libya now, in the name of the African Union, and in the name of 1,000 traditional African kingdoms, in your own name, I would like to seize this opportunity to present the congratulations to our son Obama, because this is the first time that he is attending with us the General Assembly in his capacity as the President of the United States, and we greet him because it is the hosting country of this gathering. Perhaps this swine virus may be one of those viruses that was created in the laboratory, and it got out of control because it was meant in the beginning to be used as a military weapon, as well as the military, the nuclear proliferations, as well as the hypocrisy, the deteriorations, and the control of the legitimate, the money-wise. Dear brothers, and as you know, that the United Nations was established and founded by 3 countries were against the Germany at the time. The United Nations that we have today is different, but the United Nations that was, it is the countries or the nations that were come together against Germany during the Second World War. These countries constituted or made a council, named after Security Councils, and gave member states to its own members and granted the veto. We were not present at the time. And the United Nations was tailored according to these 3 countries, and wanted from us to wear the clothes or the suit that was tailored against Germany. This is the real substance and contents of the United Nations as it was founded 40 years or 60 years ago. This was happened during the absence of over 165 countries. The ratio is 1 of 8, and one was present and 8 were absent. Those, they created or they made the charter, and you know, I have the charter, a copy of it, and once you read the charter of the United Nations, the preamble of the United Nations is different from the provisions and the articles. How this came to existence, those who attended in San Francisco in 1945, they all participated in the preamble, but they left the articles and the provisions and the procedures of the internal procedures of the Security Council, or the so-called Security Councils. They left it to the job of the experts and the countries who are interested, which are the countries who created the Security Councils, which countries came together united against Germany. The preamble is very tempting, and no one is objecting to the preamble, but everything that came after that is completely in contradictions with the preamble. This is what we have now. This is what we are rejecting, and we shall never continue with it. This came to an end during the Second World War. So in this charter, there is nothing that the United Nations will interfere in which will be the pure business of the internal affairs. I mean the government. It is the internal affairs of a certain government. No country has the right to interfere in this affair, in the sort of government, whether it is a dictatorial, socialist, capitalist system, or whether it is a reactionary, progressive. This is the responsibility of the society. It is an internal matter of the people concerned of a certain country. at the level of the General Congress of the world, which is the General Assembly, which is the transformations of the Security Council power to the General Assembly. And the Security Council will be just an instrument to implement the decisions taken by the General Assembly. It will be the Parliament of the world and the Legislative Assembly of the world, and this is democracy, and the Security Council should be responsible to before the General Assembly, and we should not accept it. These are the legislators of which is the members of the General Assembly, and the resolution should be binding. It is said that the General Assembly should do and this at the recommendation of the Security Council. The contrary, the Security Council should do this and that according to the rules and the orders of the United Nations. These are the United Nations who are all, including all the members of the world, and not the Security Council, which include only 10 member states. How can we be happy about the world peace and security if the 4 countries or 10 countries are controlled by the whole world? We are 190 nations and countries, and we are like the Hyde Park. I mean, we just speak and nobody is implementing our decisions. We are just like a decor. You are made like a decor. You are like a Hyde Park. You are worthless. I mean, without any real substance. It's just a corner speaker like the speakers of the Hyde Park corner. No more, no less.
A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
Who is he, Bin Laden?
He committed a heinous act.
Bin Laden made this heinous act.
You don't think what Osama bin Laden did was wrong?
Was he on board one of those aircraft that hit the towers?
But he took credit for sending them.
This is another thing. I don't think that in front of us we have a court sentence vis-à-vis Bin Laden or in this regard. The terrorists who hit New York are not from Afghan. They're not Afghani. They did not use the airplanes or take off from Iraq or Afghanistan by airplanes. They flew from JFK airport here in New York. The whole action was done here. They were trained here. They did not train, or they were not trained in Iraq or in Afghan.
Oh, okay. We'll be right back.
The real Libya is the pain that Gaddafi has inflicted on Americans, on French, on all people of the world. That's the real situation. As government, we have an opportunity to engage Libya on values that we should be building people-to-people relationship. We shouldn't be building people-to-dictator relationship.
We want to work with those forces within societies that are yearning for change, to make sure that they have the support needed and, frankly, the technical assistance, the financial assistance to be able to make it through to what is a good outcome, what they've asked for in their online blogs and in their posters and in their interviews.
As Americans sit and watch and try to make sense of what's going on in the Arab Muslim world, is what's happening, is the emerging new order, is it good for America? What should Americans make of it?
Well, I think in general, Americans are in favor of human rights, freedom, democracy. We know that ultimately the most progress that can be made on behalf of human beings anywhere is when those individuals are empowered, when they have governments that are responsive. That's what we want to see.
Well, on Tuesday, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton gave a major address calling for internet freedom around the world. Speaking at George Washington University, Clinton condemned the Egyptian and Iranian governments for arresting and beating protesters.
What happened in Egypt and what happened in Iran, which this week is once again using violence against protesters seeking basic freedoms, was about a great deal more than the internet. In each case, people protested because of deep frustrations with the political and economic conditions of their lives. They stood and marched and chanted, and the authorities tracked and blocked and arrested them.
Just moments before Hillary Clinton spoke those words, a 71-year-old man was violently ejected from Clinton's own event and arrested for turning his back on the Secretary of State. TV cameras caught part of what happened.
Then the government pulled the plug. Cell phone service was cut off, TV satellite signals were jammed, and internet access was blocked for nearly the entire country.
So this is America.
The government
This
did
is
not
America.
want the
Who are
people
you?
to communicate with each other, and it did not want the press to communicate with the public.
The voice you heard screaming was that of Ray McGovern as he was dragged away by security guards who left him bruised and bloody. He was then arrested. McGovern is a former Army intelligence officer and a 27-year veteran of the CIA.
We should be building people-to-people relationship. We shouldn't be building people-to-dictator relationship.
We have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.